Visit AnyExpat for relocation assistance.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sharing one of the craziest, scariest, and most rewarding stories of my life. How I moved to Australia with just $2,000 in my bank account. Yeah, you heard that right. 2 grand. Was it a good idea? Was it a total disaster? Well, stick around because I'm about to spill all the details. It all started with this dream. I was stuck in a rut, working a job I didn't love, and I just yearned for an adventure. Australia, with its sunny beaches, unique wildlife, and laid-back culture, was calling my name. I applied for a working holiday visa, got it approved, and a wave of excitement and terror washed over me. I booked a one-way ticket to Sydney, and that's when the reality of my financial situation really hit me. After paying for the flight and visa fees, I was left with a little over $2,000 US. I had to cover everything: a place to live, food, transportation, and finding a job, all in one of the most expensive cities in the world. People told me I was crazy. Maybe I was. Landing in Sydney was a surreal experience. I remember stepping out of the airport, the warm air hitting my face, and feeling a mix of pure joy and absolute panic. My first priority was finding somewhere cheap to stay. Forget fancy hotels or even a private Airbnb. I headed straight for a backpacker's hostel. I'd booked a bed in a 12-person dorm room. It was loud, it was crowded, and my personal space was basically the size of my bunk bed, but it was also my first taste of the traveler community. I met people from all over the world, all on their own adventures. Hearing their stories made me feel a little less alone and a lot more inspired. The hostel cost me about $30 a night, which was still a huge chunk of my daily budget, so I knew I had to find a job, fast. The first week was a frantic blur of job hunt. I knew my savings were dwindling with every meal I ate. My diet consisted mostly of instant noodles, cheap bread, and whatever was on special at the local supermarket. I spent my days walking for hours, handing out my resume to every cafe, restaurant, and shop I could find. I must have handed out over 100 resumes. The rejections were tough. "We're not hiring. You don't have local experience? Come back later." It was discouraging, and there were definitely moments where I sat on a park bench, looking at my bank account and thought, what have I done? I was so close to giving up and booking a flight home. But just when I was about to hit my breaking point, I got a call. It was from a small cafe I'd applied to a few days earlier. They needed a dishwasher and someone to help with basic food prep. It wasn't glamorous, and the pay was just minimum wage. But it was a job. I'd never been so happy to wash dishes in my entire life. That job was my lifeline. It didn't pay much, but it was enough to cover my hostel rent and food. It meant I could stay. It meant my Australian dream wasn't over. Working in that cafe was an experience in itself. I was scrubbing pots and pans in the back, but I was also learning. I learned about Australian work culture. I perfected my DJ, mate, and my colleagues became my first real friends in this new country. They gave me tips on where to find cheaper groceries, which neighborhoods were more affordable, and even invited me out for a barbie on the beach. This was the Australia I had dreamed of. The work was hard, but for the first time I felt like I was building something. After a couple of months, I managed to save up a little bit of money. It was time to leave the noisy hostel behind. I teamed up with 2 other people I'd met, and we found a shared apartment. It was nothing fancy, just a small place a bit further from the city center, but having my own room felt like the biggest luxury in the world. This was a huge turning point. I finally had a place that felt like a home. It gave me the stability to start thinking about my next steps. The dishwashing job was great for getting me on my feet, but I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do long term. I started looking for work that was more aligned with my skills. I networked. I took online courses to beef up my resume, and I kept applying. Eventually, I landed a role as an administrative assistant in an office. The pay was better, the hours were more regular, and it felt like a real career step. This new job allowed me to save more seriously. I could finally afford to do more than just survive. I started exploring. And that's when the real adventure began. I spent my weekends hiking in the Blue Mountains, learning to surf at Bondi Beach and taking road trips up the coast. I saw kangaroos and koalas in the wild for the first time. I snorkeled in the Great Barrier Reef and watched the sunset over Uluru. These were the moments that made all the struggle, all the instant noodles, and all the uncertainty completely worth it. Every dollar I had saved went towards experiencing this incredible country. I wasn't just a tourist. I was living here. I was building a life. Looking back, Moving to Australia with just $2,000 was probably the riskiest thing I've ever done. It was incredibly difficult and there were so many times I almost failed. But it taught me more than any school or job ever could. It taught me how to be resilient, resourceful, and how to bet on myself. It forced me to step way outside my comfort zone and connect with people in a way I never would have otherwise. I learned that you don't need a lot of money to start a new life, but you do need a lot of determination, a willingness to work hard, and a little bit of luck. So for anyone out there who is dreaming of a big move, but is scared they don't have enough saved up, I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It's not. But I will tell you that it's possible. Start small, be humble, be willing to do any job to get your foot in the door, and be smart with every single dollar. The experiences you will gain and the person you will become will be worth more than any amount of money. It's a journey that will test you, but it will also change you for the better. That's my story. From a tiny bunk bed in a crowded hostel to building a life I love on the other side of the world. It's been a wild ride, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. If you have any questions about moving to Australia or my experience, please drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures. See you in the next one.
Visit AnyExpat for relocation assistance. Don't forget to like and subscribe.